Welcome to the Manuchehri podcast. Over the last 30 years, it has been my joy to assist humanity in aligning with their magnificence so they may heal, discover their natural gifts, and communicate with loved ones living on the other side. May you also experience delight while we dance in the powerful, intuitive world of energy. Let's get going. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's podcast. It is April 17th, 2024. And I think Charles has a toy in here, so we might hear a squeak every once in a while. He can open up the door to my office, so I didn't successfully keep him out for today. Before we get started, before we go to the voicemails that you all graciously leave for me with beautiful questions about your life, before we go there and I start to answer those, I wanted us to talk about the human auric field. It's this beautiful, powerful field of energy. It's the greatest amount of real estate of energy that's connected to your body that exists in all of the cosmos. And it's part of your soul, because when you first came into creation, perhaps hundreds of thousands of years ago, you had an aura around your large ball of fire, which was your true introduction into the experience of life. Because this is an irreplaceable part of you, like when you leave your body at some point, when you transition from physical back into non-physical, your auric field will go with you, along with your chakra system. What would it be like if you became friends with your aura? Imagine how much information is in this beautiful, huge body of energy. It's meant to extend 3 city blocks in every direction. That means 3 city blocks above you, to each side of you, in front of you, behind you, underneath you. It's shaped like an eggshell, so it's kind of oval in a way. And it actually acts, if you allow it to extend 3 city blocks. Many people contract their auric field very tightly around their body, like at 7 feet. Approximately is where the average human allows their auric field to extend. But imagine if your auric field were like your skin, which it is. It's a layer of natural protection. Like the skin is a layer of protection for us. It protects us from the sun, protects us from, freezing temperatures or really cold temperatures. It protects us if we were to bump into something, so that our tissues underneath, our vessels, our bones are protected. And it also alerts you when you're close to something that's too hot, or you step outside and it's too cold and you need another layer. So your auric field is just like that. However, just like your skin needs hydration and, cool clothes, your auric field needs to expand. That's its hydration. That's its moisturizer. That's the vitamins that it needs, is actually expansion. So to expand your auric field, it'd be fun if you would close your eyes. Literally imagine that it's 3 city blocks in every direction. Or if you don't want it to extend 3 city blocks, how about it extends 1 city block in every direction? That would be incredible. It's a powerful field of energy that surrounds you, that in its large capacity, which means bigger than 7 feet, it houses a lot of knowledge that you need right now, knowledge that's effective for you. Psychic energy, multisensory ability. It allows you to sense what's coming down the pike long before it comes down the pike. It allows you to get intuitive information at a higher frequency so that it can make sense to you right now, whether you follow the intuition or not, because that's kind of how we learn. We get impressions, we feel something, we hear something, we see something, which is never expressed in fear, by the way. So we have this awareness like, I think that was an intuitive message. And then we don't follow it, but then we find out, oh yeah, that was an intuitive message. That in itself is a success. Learning to know the difference between the egotistical, fearful mind and your beautiful, gorgeous insight is powerful. That's where freedom comes from. That's where choice comes from. That's where your magnificence can actually begin to really express itself in this 3rd dimensional space, which is one of the reasons why you chose to incarnate to the physical realm, so that you could allow your magnificence to manifest here in this 3rd dimensional space. Simply closing your eyes, resting in the lower half of your body, and imagining that your auric field is expanding in every direction will help it to do so, because imagination is a big part of creativity. It's a big part of co-creation. Nothing really in the world is logical. The brain would love for you to think that it is, but everything truly is highly intuitive. Even finding the right people to work for you. If you owned a medium-sized or large company, you need to have a group of cohesive people that can work together. Well, that's an intuitive process, not just looking at someone's resume and saying, oh, well, they went to a great college, they have this much experience. What if that person doesn't know how to get along with others? That's not a successful candidate. So you need to have your intuition who can read behind the logic and take in probably the most important information about another person, whether they work for you or you hire them, or it's your doctor or your lawyer or your partner or your future partner. You want to be able to feel what is in the highest good for you. So that means you need to expand your auric field and spend time with it. Think of the aura as a living, breathing thing, because it is. Your physical eyes can't see it. Your third eye can. And if you could rest on the lower half of your body, then you could experience it. And it doesn't have to be visual. It could be that you hear your auric field and you know what it sounds like when it expands, because it is a living, breathing, powerful mechanism for you. Okay, let's go ahead and go to our voicemails, and I will start to answer questions.
Hi, Marie. My name is Liza, and I've been enjoying your format. I discovered you on Next Level Soul, so I don't know the old format. Anyway, I'm wondering about my low energy, generally very low physical energy. My legs feel heavy, and I've always had asthma, and I have been trying to do reduced breathing, a Buchenko method, and I find it anxiety provoking. And my stress levels are always off the charts, and especially at night. And I wonder why at night my heart races and I have such high stress. So I heard you say something to someone in answer to their question on your podcast about a mental energy leak, and that kind of struck a chord. So I ordered Barbara Brennan's book, but I don't have it yet. And just any insight would be much appreciated. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. And I'm so sorry about the asthma and the low energy. Overall, you're just not great at receiving. Like, it's just not your favorite thing. And people can't get well without energy. It even helps pharmacology. It helps holistic medicine. It helps exercise. It helps everything. So when I look at you, and you really do look kind of frail and very thin to me, at least energetically, because your body's working so hard, I don't see you taking in light or vibration. It doesn't mean that you're not taking it in, but I just can't see it. The way I normally view energy, I don't see it coming into your body. I see a little bit into your root chakra, which tells me you probably enjoy the outdoors and nature. And so you're allowing some to come into the root. But overall, it's kind of like, this is a weird term. They use it in medicine when infants have a hard time suckling, whether that's to their mother or to a bottle. They call it failure to thrive, where they just won't flourish. They won't take in nutrients. And that's what you're doing energetically. You won't take in the energy, because the only reason why you're not taking it in is because of what you are saying to yourself, or what you believe in terms of your worth or your value. And that's why you're so exhausted. I think you notice it more at night, because I don't think there's a change from day to night. But at nighttime, you stop being active. And so you can actually feel what your body's been feeling all day long. And that makes you more anxious, actually, when you start to, oh gosh, my pulse is kind of raising. Oh, I'm having a hard time breathing. It's not because things increase at night. You're actually just more aware of it at night, because it's quieter. You're not as busy. I think several things need to happen. First and foremost, you will need to fall in love with yourself, because we're talking really about, staying healthy, creating more health, living on earth, because things are challenging for you, and we don't want them to get any more challenging. So first and foremost, devoting yourself into falling in love with yourself, because I can see how busy you can be and you can actually get a lot done even though you need to be resting. So if you could put that energy into your own development of self-worth, that would be incredible. I do think it would be best if you did see an energy worker. I know my schedule's fairly packed. We do have a cancellation list, but if you saw an energy worker, someone to help pump you up with light, would be great. You could also put hands on yourself and do some toning. I know I've toned on several of these recordings, so you should be able to find one, or there's going to be some sort of demonstration on my YouTube channel. That could get you to start to fill up with energy. I also think you need a little bit of therapy. I do. And so it'd be nice if you found a combo of, because a wise, seasoned energy worker is working on the emotional response system, that's for sure. Because somehow you shut a lot of things down because you got very hurt. Perhaps we would call it even very wounded, perceptionally speaking, at some time in this lifetime, which is going to be a reflection of many lifetimes as well. It's not just this lifetime. And so you have this kind of failure to thrive, even though you're taking in nutrients, like you're eating and drinking and all of those things, but it's as if you're not. It's just not happening. So those are my thoughts on it. I do love Stephanie Moberg. She's on my referral list. She's a therapist, but really an intuitive, a coach, psychic. She's very, very wise, but she's also been trained as a therapist and has worked in the therapy world. So that someone like her, if not her, I think will help you so you can get out of this slump and start to get your body feeling better. Which might even require a naturopath to help you more efficiently with the asthma, right? So asthma is a very scary, it is scary when people are asthmatic. It's scary anyway, but from an energetic perspective, it's very fearful. It's a scary energy. And that's what creates this panic in the breathing is there's fear, intense fear. And sometimes that starts in childhood. There could be childhood events that were fearful, and we're still kind of stuck in that energy from our younger self's perception, not from our adult perception, and we can lead to difficulties with breathing. So that's what I'm recommending. I hope that it all helps. Thank you.
My name is Jill. I'm calling from New York City. Last year, I had a wonderful mediumship reading with you, and that is when I understood that the relationship I have with the loved ones who have passed on continues and is always there for me. I think I'm becoming more receptive. I would like to be able to hear their messages for me more clearly. And often I think that will only really happen when I have transitioned, and I find myself looking forward to that. In a way, it's very beautiful to have the relationship in the form that it is now. It's just that longing for more clear communication and more closeness, which I think will only happen when I have transitioned. So I just wanted to ask you, anything you can share with me to make this clearer for me? Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Jill. And it can happen before you cross over. It's actually we're supposed to maintain these relationships between these people that we want to continue to relate with, whether they live in physical form or in another dimension. Like, that's normal. It's supposed to be happening all the time, constantly, to everyone. Everyone is naturally intuitive, at least for their very own life. And then some people use their intuition professionally. So we're born intuitive creatures, but because it's not something we teach strategically here on Earth, many people forget that and don't realize it because it's kind of taught out of us because we're taught to focus on logic 1,000 times more than intuition. So that's number one. What's making it difficult for you to experience your family, because they know you want to experience them and they're around you quite a bit, but you do keep your energy fairly low. Remember, they live in another reality, which is a much higher vibration than our Earth. And so in order for you to get some sense of that connection, you have to raise your vibration. That means you have to get happy about something, probably not about them being on the other side. You'll have to think of something unrelated. And then the other part was sometimes people don't sense their spirit guides or their departed loved ones or creation or, you know, whatever is going on in the multi-sensory world, is because everyone's so kind. When people cross over, they become kinder and more loving and very compassionate. And humans don't always recognize that in some of their relationships. So it's like they're not prepared to hear how loved they are, how adored they are, how worthy they are, how cherished they are. So they kind of block it because their humanness isn't used to being so valued and appreciated. That's one of the telltale signs, actually, that someone is getting authentic, intuitive information, is that they feel so incredibly loved for no particular reason. In fact, it's so intense. Myself and many other people I know who work in the profession of intuition, we've cried our eyes in the beginning of hearing the universe communicate with us, or knowing that the universe is communicating with us. Like, we cried a lot because it was just so breathtaking and shocking, and it's so authentic. So you have to raise your vibration and realize how incredible you are so you can hear what they are actually saying to you. Good luck. I know you can do it.
Good morning, Marie, and thank you so much for allowing my question to be recorded. I'm actually taking your Expand Your Frequency and Amplify Your Multisensory Power class, and I'm so grateful that I have found you. I am an intuitive and probably teach a mild version of what you're teaching all through my life. I'm 68 years old and trying to figure out just how I move forward with purpose in my life, with knowing what I know. And if you can give me any insight on that, I so would appreciate it. My other question is, in the last 6 months, my skin has been tearing. It's gotten really, really thin. I'm so healthy, I don't know what more I can do. But I rub up against something and a flap of skin tears off. I take aminos, and I'm just eat healthy. I live a really beautiful life. So I don't know why all of a sudden this is happening to me. I've got like 4 or 5 boo-boos all over me trying to heal that. I so appreciate you, and yes, anything you can give me, I would love. Thank you.
You're welcome, Chris, and thank you for everything you do in the world. I'm sure it's amazing. I've seen those tears before when I worked in the hospital. Sometimes some of our patients would have this very fragile skin. A lot of people don't take very good care of their skin. And when the skin has been exposed to too much sunlight or UV light, it gets very thin and gets damaged, is what happens to it. At least that's my perception of it. And I remember there was this very nice surgeon who would come up to the floor, because I didn't work on a surgical floor, I worked on a medical oncology floor, mostly in the onc area. And he would come up and take such precious time when we would have a patient that would have a tear like that. He would come up and take steri strips and take so much time holding the skin together and beautifully placing the steri strips on patients who had, accidentally damaged their skin like that. He was just the sweetest, very quiet surgeon, but obviously a very kind soul. So that's what I thought of as soon as you talked about your skin. And it's got to be painful. I've seen it. I know it must hurt. So a couple things. I would consider putting on some castor oil on your skin, because it's very hydrating to the skin. And I would put it on at night. Make sure, if you buy it, which I'm sure you will since you're into vitamins and all of those things, buy it in a glass bottle. It needs to be brown glass, needs to be organic, needs to be, cold pressed, and a couple other things. I forget what it's called, Hexam something. You could look it up if you don't, or if you don't know what I'm talking about, just maybe read about castor oil and what's the best type of product to buy of the oil. So I actually put it on almost every night before I go to bed. And I do it after I shower, so that, because it's kind of sticky, so that so it's easier to apply. It is kind of messy. I mean, I have to put my hair up and it's messy, but it's supposed to be great for the skin. I actually have noticed a difference. Now, the other thing that's super effective for skin is red light therapy. Super effective. Near infrared mixed with red light, not just red light, but near infrared. So we want those lasers to go down into your skin. As I've said before on this podcast, I love platinum therapy. That's my absolute favorite. But I think the runner-up is Red Rush, which is another company. They both have the least amount of UV light, exposed through their panels. So that's one of the reasons why they're my favorite, because we don't need UV light at all. That's not what we need, especially on the skin. And yet, your skin's talking to you. Any part of the body that's having an issue, it's talking to us. It's having a conversation. It's going, hey, got to talk to you about something. So the seventh chakra is governed by the skin, and the seventh chakra is our connection to the universe, God, source, creation. And I think what needs to happen here is you need to let the universe love you, especially for everything that you've done in the world. So that's what I want you to work on, is letting the universe love you, just because they already do, unconditionally. Let them love you. Okay. Good luck.
Hi, Marie. Happy New Year. My name is Magia, and I'm calling from Virginia. I had a session with you last November, and it was incredibly helpful. I've been working on raising my vibration, and I'm curious what you're seeing, if you could give me a quick energy reading. And I'm also curious to hear your top recommendations for how we can keep our vibration high in 2024. Thank you so much for all the work that you do and for your presence. You are truly an inspiration. Thank you.
Thank you, Maga. And everyone is truly an inspiration, seriously. But of course, thanks to everyone for all your kind comments. You have to find out what makes you happy. I know and I've said this a million times, I know that if I walk outside, I'm going to be happy. It's one of the reasons why I have a dog, and a dog with long legs, because I like to walk fast. In fact, the trainer told me when I had a trainer help me, because I'd never had a dog before. And she said I was walking him too hard as a puppy. He was like 6 months old. She goes, that's too much walking. I'm like, uh-oh. Even today, I was a little bit tired earlier, and I didn't even feel like going on a walk, but the creature laying on the ground underneath me requires it. And so I went for a walk today. I got a decaf coffee with a little bit of chocolate in it, and went to my favorite wetland park, and was in bliss within seconds, because I'm seeing blue herons, a bald eagle, turtles. And then something really weird happened. So this path is on concrete, throughout this park. It's really beautiful. And I was turning back to walk home to my car, actually, and a coyote was following us. I know. I just about freaked because I see coyotes a lot in my neighborhood. They live here. I don't let my cats out, or I don't let them out. I've let them out before, but I'm now being really strict. Like, you can't go outside unless, they poop in the house, because they're mad at me. Then I let them out for a few minutes while I'm on guard. But to see a coyote in the broad daylight, which is not that uncommon anymore, but on a concrete path in a park where there are quite a few people, was shocking in such a way, like, there's a coyote following us. I'm like, and Charles knows what that means, because I've trained him that those are bad doggies, because I don't want him to become friends with all the coyotes that live in our neighborhood. And I quickened my step, because I didn't want the coyote to get too close. But even that was exciting. So to maintain your vibration, you have to discover what makes you personally happy. What is it that makes you personally happy? It's like research. You have to spend a weekend with a little notebook going about your day and go, am I happy now? Is this making me happy? What about now? What about now? You have to like check in with yourself because it's not something that most humans understand or participate in. We have lists in our brain. Got to get this done, got to get that done, got to do that. But we don't really understand the concept because we're not taught it very well about joy. In fact, it's almost as if it's not till retirement that people can allow themselves to have joy. They get to have hobbies and travel. Seems silly. We should have hobbies and travel our whole life if that's what makes us happy. So you're going to have to investigate this because that's how you keep your vibration up. I mean, I'm still excited about that coyote. It was kind of a young coyote, looked really healthy, which made me happy. I'm so glad I turned and saw him. I even warned a few people who had little dogs with them that were sitting on a bench. I'm like, there's a coyote, about 50 feet behind me. Just FYI. So that's what you have to do. I hope that's helpful. Okay, thank you.
Hi, my name is Abbie, and I live in Sedona, Arizona. I lost my sister suddenly on Christmas morning at 4:00 a.m. Central Time. She took her last breath. I've been grieving a lot, crying a lot, and it's been a roller coaster of emotion. She was my best friend, and we did have a year and 3 months where we were taking a break. And even though we would text and have some communication, we weren't talking. And I know that doesn't matter now because I feel her everywhere. And I'm following some of the things that you've said to stay in the lower part of your body. And I just feel her so strongly, and I don't even want to do anything but just be with her. I'm just wondering if you could let me know if I'm really feeling her. I mean, I'm trusting it, but I also sometimes have some doubts, and I also feel bad at times about that we weren't speaking and that she was upset it was coming from her.
Yeah.
But we did have a very loving text 2 weeks before she passed. I know she's in a better place, and I feel that. I'm just sad. Thank you. I'm really enjoying your podcast. I heard your interview on Next Level Soul, and I just was really turned on to you. So thank you, and I hope you hear this.
Thank you, Abbie, if I'm saying your name correctly. First of all, I'm so sorry. I mean, I almost cried when you were talking. Before you even fully explained that your sister passed, I could just feel the heaviness and the sorrow. And I don't cry easily when I read other people's energy. It's only happened to me maybe 3 times in my entire career because I feel like I've heard and seen everything. You guys were so tight, so tight. And it's okay that things happen towards the end. Death is really weird. It's weird because, first of all, at least in the United States, we suck at understanding and explaining it and teaching about it and looking at it as something to cherish and to kind of understand the ins and outs of it. I mean, it's very a perplexed kind of experience. Just like giving birth is weird and scary and perplexing and odd and different for everyone. I think of death is like labor, but because you're being birthed into another reality. And sometimes, and I mean a lot of times, and you can ask medical professionals about this and people who work in hospice, that sometimes our loved ones don't want us with them when they die. They don't want us there. Or they may just want a particular person, but they won't necessarily say that because they don't even know that that's what they want. It's harder sometimes to leave the body when the people you love the most are standing right next to you, and they need to slip out. They need to let go and get out of their physical form so they can actually die, right? They need their energy to escape. So it's not uncommon that an entire family can be vigilant at a bedside, not wanting to leave for a second. And maybe everybody goes to get lunch, and one person who was going to stay just takes a quick shower, or goes potty. I know I have 5 grandkids. I say potty and a dog now. So it's part of my vocabulary these days. And then that person dies just in the 10 minutes that nobody was there. They're waiting for everybody to be gone. Your sister had some privateness about her, and she was going through a lot in towards the end of her life because she didn't do a lot of inner work in her physical form. And so she was having all these kind of weird experiences, cool too, and interesting. So believe me, she was fully entertained. I don't feel that she was lonely or scared. I feel like she was pretty entertained in the experience. And when she showed me what many people have showed me when they leave their form, their physical form, it's like a rocket shooting off into the heavens. And with each burst of movement, they gain so much knowledge and awareness, not just about the future and what's happening to them in this moment, but even their past, because they're so recently leaving this interesting, weird, kind of stifled physical reality that they get a lot of answers about things. And she said, seeing you as her rocket was shooting out of her body was the most gorgeous and beautiful thing she had ever seen in her life. Made her love you even more. A lot of people, when they cross, they don't talk about all the things that humans think are important, like who was at the bedside, who was in the will. Like they don't care about any of that stuff. They call it SHIT. They we don't talk about that stuff. They don't care about it. It doesn't matter. They see so much more. They feel so much more. And that's the energy they want to participate in. So she says, get happy when you think about me. Listen to jokes or funny movies and think about me. And she goes, and then we can dance together. She loves you very much. Okay, I hope that's helpful. Thank you.
Hello, Marie. This is Carmelina from Melbourne, Australia. I saw your podcast with Alex Ferrari, and I really resonated with you. I just wanted to know what's in my highest good for the year 2024. I had a major operation, a hysterectomy, and I'm just wondering what's going to happen to me health-wise and future-wise. I've just sort of retired from broadcasting myself, so anyway, it'd be good if you could give me a response. Thank you.
You're very welcome. I hope your surgery was everything you wanted it to be and successful. I'm sorry that you had surgery, but I'm hoping that everything was delightful for you, good outcome. And thank you for all you've done in the world. I truly appreciate that. This is what I heard when you started talking about 2024. Let go, let go, let go, let go. Like the universe wants you to learn to surrender. You're strong, you're tough, you can handle a lot, but we're not necessarily supposed to do it that way. We're supposed to let other people help us. We're supposed to let other people in. We're supposed to be vulnerable. Like vulnerability is where the true essence of power is. Using the phrase silently or out loud throughout the day for like the next year would be great. What if I let go and get out of the way and allow all the magic to happen and not think about what that means, even what magic means, even what letting go means? Your soul knows what letting go means. It may not even be about anything in this particular lifetime. It could be something from a previous lifetime that you need to surrender from, detach from, let go of. So just saying that what if question will be very transformative for. I'm excited. I'm glad you had the hysterectomy. I don't know all the circumstances around it, but I'm glad you had it. So we know it was a necessary surgery. Thank you. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.
Hi, Marie. My name is Laurie. I'm from North Miami, Florida. I'm an energy healer, intuit, and empath for over 30 years now. I have a small practice, but anyway, at this point, I'd love your help with the best ways I could improve my mood and raise my energy and frequency. I've been struggling with anxiety and depression my whole life. Now I'm grieving because my kids are grown, they're out of the house, and I miss them terribly. And it's been over 8 years. Anyway, also, I'd love your thoughts on being a more effective and powerful healer for others and myself, because I love healing and I do feel I have that gift. I'd like to get much better at it. Thank you so much for your thoughts and your help. I'm very grateful. Thank you.
Of course, Laurie, and I'm so grateful for everything you do in the world as well. I think when people miss their kids, when they have appropriately grown up and flew the coop and are living their own lives, it's because they just don't have enough for themselves. You know, you're clearly an old soul, and old souls reincarnate to the earth realm to learn self-compassion. And they're really good at having compassion for others and taking care of others. And it's almost negative karma for them to stay so steadfast in that taking care of others and loving others. It's really not in your best interest to make that your primary in a piece of joy. In fact, our joy really shouldn't be about other people. It needs to be about something very personal for us. So anxiety and depression are from overthinking and analyzing information. So that's the first thing that's got to go. You have to learn to stop thinking. It's not healthy. The brain is only for logical things. I don't know if this is logical. I just love apopholites. I've got this beautiful stone here, but where I place it is important because I can't have my hand knock it or put it too close to a glass of water because I don't want them to make sound. So that's the only thing the mind is for, logical things, period. Energy work is very non-logical. It's about the movement of subatomic particles that most people can't even see or don't even recognize that they're experiencing. Once you start to get out of your head and be in the lower half of your body, you're going to fill yourself with tons of subatomic particles. And that's what you want. You want your vessel to be full of particles. And then you're going to be able to generate more and utilize them in your practice. But you have to stop thinking, analyzing, and processing. And the way you'll know that you're doing that is you're going to get happier. You're not going to be as depressed or anxious. You're going to raise your vibration to a higher frequency. Most depression and most anxiety is only created from the brain, and it's man-made or woman-made. It's not authentic. Real emotions are authentic. And people can be really mad or really sad, but there's an observational quality that's actually quite empowering that allows us to set healthy boundaries or make different choices. Man-made or woman-made depression and anxiety doesn't have a resolution, not even truly a drug resolution, at least for most of the population. There is a small percentage of the population that does need medication to resolve the biochemical imbalance in their brain. But the majority, like 97% of the population, doesn't really need antidepressants or anti-anxiety medication. They need to learn to stop using their brain in the ways that it was not created to use. And then you'll have way more energy, and then you can have more dynamic in your healing practice. So I think you need to go find things that fill you up. Personally, you got to, and I've mentioned this already today, it's part of a self-discovery. Like when I heard the term pickleball, I went, oh my gosh, what is that? I mean, I got so excited. I play pickleball now every Sunday. In fact, one of my friends is going to retire soon. Yes. And I'm going to play more pickleball because she's too busy right now. She doesn't have time to play pickleball. So I have, my Sunday partner, we play every morning. And then soon I'm going to have another pickleball person. So pay attention to what's happening around you because the universe is giving us clues all the time about what will bring us more joy. My friend and I who play Sunday, we don't keep score. We love the fact, because we play singles, that we have to run around because, that you have more landscape when there's just the two of you. We love that we have to run around and jump for a ball. Like we like the exercise that we're getting, so we don't really play typical pickleball, I guess you could say. All right, those are my thoughts. I hope it's helpful. My intuitive thoughts and impressions.
Hey Marie, this is Raimi. I'm calling from Minnesota. I'm hoping you can just provide a general energy reading for me, and also if you have any advice as far as my career. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Hi, Raimi. I love the Minnesota accent, and I've just met so many people from Minnesota. They're so kind. So kind. It's that Midwest niceness that is lovely, that we used to have throughout the country has changed for a good or who knows what. So first and foremost of all, your career doesn't make me happy. It doesn't make me sad. It doesn't lower my vibration, but it's not making me go, ah. So clearly you need to make a change, whether it's within the company or in the organization that you work in, or you do something very different, which is where I'm getting more of a pull. But you could temporarily maybe make some changes career-wise where you are while you're getting clarity about what's next for you. And as always, I think I sound like a broken record sometimes when I make these podcasts, that people have to follow their joy. You first have to know what authentically brings you joy and know it's not others. When someone asked me that question years ago, I said, oh, my kids. They go, no, it can't be your children. I said, what do you mean? Because that really was my greatest joy for the longest time. They said, well, they can disappoint you. They can exhaust you. They can wear you out too. And I go, true. They go, real joy is something that is consistently there, that brings you a shift in your vibration, a shift in your frequency. So it can't really be about other people. Not really. So when people discover what brings them personal joy and they start to follow that joy, then other things begin to be highlighted, because our magnificence is at a high vibration. That means our natural gifts and talents, our careers, our perfect love matches, our greatest friends, the best food for us, where wealth exists for everyone, is in high frequency. So when we continue to discover and participate, like what if I had only noticed pickleball? Oh, I like that phrase, but I never did anything about it. Then I miss out this opportunity to allow my energy to really expand. Now I've got pickleball t-shirts and paddles and a little bag. I mean, obviously I really like it. But I wouldn't have known how much I liked it if I didn't actually try it. So not only do you have to know what brings you joy, you have to participate in it. For some people, music just, I was interviewed recently on another person's podcast, and the gentleman was talking about music and how much he loved it. I could see how much he loved it. And I could see like CDs and records and turntables in his house, and I don't have any of those things, none. So obviously I like music, but it's not my, that I so much am going to go and invest in, vinyl or something of that nature. So it's a place of self-exploration. That's how we raise our vibration, by making these unique discoveries about who we are. And then paths get highlighted. And you have a career path decision you want to make, or movement, but you have to be in joy so that you can see it. And I can't quite see it. Sometimes I can for people. I can't quite see it. I do think writing could be a possibility, even if it's not the thing. Starting to do some creative writing, like using Juliet Cameron's morning pages. That would be lovely. So that's what I'm experiencing for you. I hope it's helpful.
Hi, Marie. This is Elizabeth in San Diego. Thank you for taking my call. I found you through your interview with Alex on Next Level Soul, and I'm fascinated by your ability to speak to our organs. I've been diagnosed with breast cancer for about a year now, and I'm at peace with my situation. I know a medical diagnosis is a fluid thing in spiritual terms, and I'm personally aware of the beautiful existence which awaits us when we leave our dense body. So I'm ready to return to Source whenever I'm called, although I'm not necessarily in a rush to do so. But because of this knowledge, I've chosen to forego traditional medicine, and instead I'm using a gentler path, which allows me to enjoy life and be present and not feeling the after effects of, what they want to do to us in the medical field. So on one hand, I feel as though there's more I'm meant to do while I'm here. So maybe I should be more worked up and doing more to fight this. Mm-hmm. Can you please share information about the best use of my time here, and what, if anything, I should be doing to extend my time here doing it? And whatever else is important for me to know about this situation going forward. Thank you so much for taking my call. I really appreciate your guidance and help with this.
You're welcome, Elizabeth. I'm sorry for your diagnosis. You have a beautiful voice, by the way. You could work in radio. Maybe you should do some podcasts and have some fun. So yeah, that was my first kind of thought. I could tell right away that you were not choosing modern medicine. And I really love every form of medicine. Not everyone should choose modern medicine. Some people, I've had many clients who I asked, please don't choose modern medicine. Not everybody follows my recommendations, though. And then some people, I really think they should follow modern medicine. So here's kind of the way to figure that out, or to understand it on an individual basis, because this is critical. We all have certain ideas of what's right and what's wrong from that logical perspective, but you have to get into the intuitive perspective for each individual, because we're all uniquely different. That's why modern medicine I love, but one of its troubled areas to me is one size fits all. I mean, because that's not true. Not only are we biochemically unique, we also have unique emotional makeup inside of us. So hopefully you had some surgery at least, so we could remove some of this, cancer out of your body, if that's something you wanted. I can tell you have a strong resistance towards modern medicine. So whenever we have a strong resistance towards anything, I think we do have to become curious about it. You still get to make whatever decision you want. Free will is the strongest law in all of the universes, and it's greatly respected by the heavens and the divine. So that's why no one can ever make a mistake. Whatever decision we make is in our highest good. But whenever we have strong resistance, because some people have strong resistance to modern medicine, some people have strong resistance to holistic medicine, and we have to kind of check that out. Am I in resistance, or am I in intuition? I'll just give an example. I think you're in some resistance, though. And if you decide to do some modern medicine, do it in a very diluted way. There's different oncologists throughout the world who can use, of course, I live in Washington State, which is very progressive medically compared to other parts of the country. There are oncologists who dilute their chemotherapy and don't use it at full force. There are some oncologists in the world who use insulin first, because there's been research that insulin opens up cancer tumors. They open up for some reason, and then if you can give less chemotherapy and it can move in. And I'm not even saying you have to do chemotherapy. You get to do whatever you want. But we want to make sure that you're following intuition instead of resistance. So here's my example. When COVID came out, I was confident in my mind when the vaccine came out that there was no way I was going to take the vaccine. I was 100% confident, even though all three of my daughters were pregnant, and I was worried about, any of us getting it or passing it on to them, or when they gave birth, or newborn children, or being a pregnant woman with COVID didn't have positive results for a lot of women around the world. So I was convinced, not because I'm against vaccines. I believe in a limited amount of vaccines. I don't believe in all of the vaccines that are available for children these days. I think that's a little overkill, but that's just me. My children have made their own decisions with their kids, how they choose to vaccinate their children. But I do believe in some vaccines. I do. So I finally realized, I think I'm in resistance because my thoughts were, it's quickly developed. Nobody's used it before. Those were my logical thoughts about it. And those are not bad rationales, but that's what I thought. And then it took me about 2 weeks, because it takes a while to get out of resistance. When I finally realized I was in some form of resistance and I wasn't receiving intuitive guidance, it took me 2 weeks to get out of my head, to rest in the lower half of my belly, which is something I don't have to actively pursue when I'm working, but in my personal life, if it's a sticky topic, I do have to do the things that I teach others to do. It took me such a long time to get out of my head, rest in my belly, and asked, please express to me whatever's in my highest good about a COVID vaccine. I was shocked when my body was happy about it and even recommended a particular vaccine. I was so incredibly shocked. Even when I went to go get the vaccine, I was not comfortable, but I had both doses and then one booster, because I had to travel abroad and the Netherlands required a current vaccine in order to land. Even to get on the plane in Seattle before you get to the Netherlands, you had to have you had to have both vaccines, recent or both, in a booster. At any rate, I'm giving you all of this talk because resistance seems so authentic, because it's so strong and it has logic behind it, always our own personal logic. But I would prefer that you kind of get out of the way, because I think you might need a little bit of modern medicine. And I said a little bit of modern medicine to allow yourself to live longer, which I agree you want to. You want to, you're ready to live longer. You're not ready to cross quite yet. And I think you could have a career in broadcasting. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding when I say these things. I do not joke about careers or love or health or any of those topics. I truly love supporting people in their progression. Perhaps start to think about what are some of the things that you would like to talk about if you were to ever do a podcast, and then seriously consider it. So how about this? Just get curious about alternative forms of modern medicine. I think that's the better way to describe it, because one of them just might be the ticket. Because once we let go of resistance, we expand our energy, and we all have it on practically every topic. All of us do. And that's why it's so crucial for humanity to learn about intuition, so we can stay out of our resistance and allow ourselves to expand and gain the knowledge and the support and the solutions that actually work for each of us individually. Because even though I had the vaccine, doesn't mean that I thought everyone should. I really believe it's a personal decision that individuals made. I support everyone's decision, quite frankly. Okay, I think I have time for one more, and then I have to go do something else.
Hi Marie, I'm Tabitha from the Netherlands, and I have a question. What is the reason I see geometric shapes, such as brightly colored mandalas with animation, or cubes and spheres within the middle, a golden ratio? I see atoms, fractals. I think it's the quantum field. I see them from my third eye when I'm in sleep-awake mode. During the day, I also see always a blue light appear, and sometimes a blue and white light grid to my right. I don't know, is that my throat chakra, or is it some guide who wants to make contact? I don't know. Hopefully you can tell me what it all means and what I can do with it. Thank you so much for everything you do. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Bye.
You're welcome, Tabitha. And thank you. So you're highly, 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 highly clairvoyant. You're psychic. And that's why you're having all these experiences. At the same time, you're scared. So you're holding it back. Like, you're excited. You're letting it to unfold to a certain level, but then you're not abstracting enough of the information that's coming through. Like, you're looking at it like a kaleidoscope. I mean, it's gorgeous. Thank you for sharing it, because you allowed me to go into your realm for a little bit and see what you see. It's beautifully bright and stunning. So many people, when their third eye is opening and it's gaining momentum, which yours opened quite a while ago, they will see shapes that sometimes people think, oh, this is calligraphy of some sort, and I need to figure out what it means, or those beautiful sketches that we see in caves and in ancient areas of the world. But that's not true. The universe can fully communicate with humanity. They don't have a problem ever communicating with us. We have a problem receiving the information or allowing the communication to come through. That's where the issue resides, not in the universe, but within ourselves. So here's what I would love for you to do. Perhaps have a little talk with the universe, find your favorite room in the house or your favorite patio outside or your favorite park, and I want you to speak out loud. Maybe put your head toward the heavens and say, I know I'm scared to death, or that I'm scared, the SHIT word. I know that I'm scared, but I really, really, really want to have my intuitive experience and power. Thank you so much for helping me to gain the knowledge that the universe is expressing with me. Thank you so much. And you might have to do that more than once, because what happens when people get scared, and you may feel like excitement, they're moving into the sympathetic aspect of their autonomic system. And when that happens, the universe kind of pulls back, because they don't want the human to create problems with their immune system. And it's kind of a message we're sending, like, I'm too scared. And so they pull back. So if you start to tell them out loud that you don't care if your body's reacting in a fearful way, you want to have the experiences no matter what, then we can start to hear, because seeing is an important concept or a beautiful aspect of intuition, but feeling what it means, hearing what it means is part of the experience, letting it all come together. I'm very excited for you. I'm so happy for you. Congratulations. You'll have to let me know how it progresses. I hope you have a beautiful day in the Netherlands, surprisingly enough. And that's enough for us for this second podcast this week. I'm going to do my best to do 2 podcasts a week. I hope everyone's having a beautiful day. Bye-bye.